Hi, my name's Kate. I'm on the food business graduate scheme at M&S. We employ over 65,000 colleagues, and this is my duvet flip.
Tell me where it all started.
It started in the nightclubs until 5 in the morning, and then I'd be in the library the next day. I just loved it.
What did the nightclub teach you about the world of work?
It was the first place that I'd really worked with people of very different ages and at very different life stages.
Why did you want to always work in a supermarket?
Well, this magically appears on your plate at dinner. How does it get there?
Why did you choose M&S?
We say it, we do it.
What's your duvet flip? What gets you out of bed in the morning to flip the duvet?
For me, it has to be... Hi, my name's Kate. I'm on the food business graduate scheme at M&S. I'm really looking forward to sitting down with Jack. I'm feeling nervous. I think I'm really excited to talk about my journey, where I started and where I am now. I wanted to come on my duvet flip to say that it's okay to not know what you want to do. No, I've not met Jack before, but I'm really looking forward to hearing his ideas and kind of building a great conversation with him. I want people to take away from the episode that your career journey is yours. Let's do this.
So welcome to my duvet flip. How are we?
Good, good. Excited.
I'm excited as well. I want to hear about your career. So tell me where it all started for you.
I think it started in the nightclub. So while I was doing my chemistry and maths degree, I worked in my local student nightclub. I'd work on a Wednesday and a Friday. I'd work until 3, 5 in the morning, and then I'd be in the library the next day. But I just loved it. Like every bit about it. I liked being on my feet. I liked being with people. I just really, really enjoyed it. And I think from there, I kind of knew that I wanted to do something that was like active and kind of close to customers, and that kind of kick-started my journey into finding the job that I'm in now.
Which is, we're going to talk all about in a minute. What did the nightclub teach you about the world of work?
I think it taught me, how to deal with difficult customers and how to deal with, different opinions. And often, there'd be people who had maybe had slightly too much to drink, and it was kind of, managing them, but also like doing my best to support them, and the customer's always right. And I think that's something that there's a lot of stakeholders to manage, whether that be your manager, Kate, like you've got to get this much sale targets this week on this till this night, but at the same time you've got customers who are not happy with their drink, and you've kind of got to manage both sides of those things. And I think for me, just being in the nightclub, I worked how to work, it taught me how to work in a team. We had different people, different ages, some doing PhDs, some freshly 18. And I think it was the first place that I'd really worked with people of very different ages and at very different life stages. We had some people after uni who'd just come to, or beyond that, who'd come and just wanted to work alongside other bits and bobs, because it's quite a good evening job. And just working with different people, I think that was the first time that I'd really done something like that. Nice,
and it gives you the opportunity to work with lots of different people in a high speed, high pressured operation, while everyone's trying to also serve the customer to have a good evening, right?
Yeah.
You said, I heard earlier offline that you wanted to work in a supermarket. It was always your focus. Where did that come from? Why did you want to always work in a supermarket?
I think I've just been so fascinated with how food gets on the shelves. And I know that I might seem a bit weird, but I've just always found it so fascinating. It's like, okay, well, this magically appears, on your plate at dinner, but actually, how does it get there? What are the steps that go on in the background to get that food into your fridge? And I found it really interesting when I first started working in store. I worked as part of a new store, and we got the keys to the store, and it was like a complete blank canvas. And it's like, okay, even down to where you put the yogurt on that shelf or where you put the pasta, it's just I just found it so fascinating, the whole thing.
Wow. And so setting up a new store and going in with the keys, you get to see it from kind of start to open, right? Yeah. Did that experience teach you anything over a store that you might have just joined where you're not getting the keys for the first time?
Yeah, so before I went into that store, I actually got a few months training in other stores that had been fully functional. Some were food halls, some were, clothing and home and other bits as well, but I'd always worked in food halls. And I think the difference with that is that I came with about 2 months of experience, and none of the other colleagues that also, a few of them had been trained up, but not that many of the other colleagues had been trained up. And I think going in, as a colleague, my store manager was also, again, quite new to the business, and it was quite a problem-solving, fast-paced environment because, you know, we had an opening deadline of, I don't know, in October we had that deadline and that couldn't change. So it was very much a process of, okay, right, all hands on deck. You know, I worked some late nights, I worked some through the night shifts to get this store to where it needed to be for opening. And I think just for me, it like, there was, you know, the store manager was getting pressure from, you know, higher up people that this, you know, this is the day it's opening, nothing's changing. But at the same time, there was building problems with like where some of the bits were in the store. And I think the whole thing was like how, as a colleague, I could then support my managers, but equally me then supporting him later down the line led for him to recommend me for the grad scheme. And, you know, I had practice interviews with him for it, and he really, like, whenever a senior stakeholder came into the store, he would always be like, oh, Kate is one of our colleagues, like, she'll show you how to do that, or she can come and support you with this, because he knew for me that he wanted to kind of introduce me to people, and he really wanted to push me and stretch me. And I think he's one of the reasons that I then like went on to do what I'm doing now, really.
Wow, so you had someone that became what they call in the world of work a sponsor, and any opportunity to help sponsor you to meet this individual, go and do this, and give you the opportunity to open your opportunities, right?
Yeah.
How important is it to have a sponsor, a mentor, someone, a role model around you when you're kind of starting your career? And especially, you've obviously had that at M&S.
I think it's really important. Like for me, I think just seeing that and being part of that, I then know personally when I, you know, have people that I'm line managing, that it's something that I want to do with them. I want to, you know, push them into opportunities where I think they'd be great and push them towards their strengths. So I think like he recognised that like I loved M&S and that I was really trying to kind of do everything that I could to get this store, make this store a success. And I think he then, you know, push me in that direction. And I think having someone like that who backs your corner, who stands up for you and really wants the best for you is so important, and so early that it really then everything kind of fell into place. Because I got this job, didn't really know what I wanted to do coming out of uni, didn't really know what I wanted to do before uni, and got that job, and then everything kind of just happened after that because I found my feet. He recognised that that was where I was strong and then helped me find kind of the right path for me.
Absolutely. I wanted to touch on not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
What's your tips and advice to people that, because there's a lot of people who will be coming out of uni, coming out of some type of education, or coming out of a previous job and going, what do I do now? You obviously didn't know what to do, and now you love what you do. You're in a role at M&S that you're enjoying because you're fascinated about food, and we're going to get into that a little bit. But like, what's your tips to them?
I think first thing I'd say is that it's okay not to know what you want to do. I think for me, when I was 16, I got really stressed about what to choose for my A-levels. I just enjoyed lots of different things, and I think I've been lucky in that my mum was always very supportive, and she was like, whatever you want to do, we'll support you. But I think what I would love to tell kids who are 16 is that it's okay. Like, sometimes you might not be that person who wakes up and decides that you want to be a dentist at the age of 10, and that's okay. Like, I think I've just kind of always gone with what's felt right at the time, and that's really helped push me into who I am now, and I've played to my strengths. So I think, it takes a while to find that thing that you love. I went to university, loved my degree, but came out of it and still didn't really know where I was going, what I was doing. And I think some people, and you see on LinkedIn, you've got friends who've decided this is what they want to do and then just gone for it, and really great that they've been able to do that and they've been so driven. But then it's okay that if you're not in that position, and that things will, things happen for a reason. There were other grad schemes that I'd applied for that I didn't get, and of course I was disappointed. But then, I'd always wanted to work in a supermarket. Yeah, it might have been, I'd come out of uni with a STEM degree. Some people frowned, turned their nose up at the fact that I was working in a supermarket. But for me, that felt like the right thing, and that was something that I wanted to do. And I think it's just blocking out that background noise and really going, okay, that's okay. There's no pressure, and just kind of working with what you want to do in the next, month, 6 months, 12 months. It's not about your career. And I think that word can be quite scary because we're so young. We're allowed to fail. We're allowed to try different things.
Every day, right?
Yeah.
Fail every day. And I don't know who they were frowning at you, communicator because look at you now, right?
Yeah.
And I always see this, like, I see LinkedIn as like, you go on there and there's loads of professional runners, but you're
Yeah.
a swimmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep swimming. Don't worry about the professional runners. Do what you want to do, right? Why did you decide to choose M&S?
I think what really drew me to M&S, the M&S values aligned a lot more with mine. So there's a lot of, you know, we tell it as it is, we say it, we do it. And it just felt like me because I've always been a little bit blunt and I've always, you know, said my thoughts and my opinions like quite vocally. And I think that I just felt more connected to the business and I felt like, you know, they care about sustainability. They do a lot of, you know, recyclable packaging in their food. And I'd seen this on social media and I just kind of, you know, from a chemistry and maths background, I'd been like, wow, that supermarket's really cool. Like, it felt like the right thing. And also the M&S, because it was a new store, there was a lot of opportunity to meet like important stakeholders. There was a lot of change. There was opportunities to get trained up in different stores. It just felt like a better fit for me at the time. There was something about M&S, it was meeting the store manager, he did my interview, and it just kind of felt like a fit.
Have you ever had it in your life where someone has said something or a system has said something that's made you shift your whole focus? And how has that now helped you with the work that you do at M&S?
Yeah, I think for me it was when I was at primary school. I was about 7 or 8 and I was basically told, well, the headmistress sat me down with my mum and basically told me that I was not clever and I was, you know, not going to make it in life basically. And at that point my mum was furious and she was like, my mum basically was like, that's not true. She's very capable. I was just slow at reading and it was something that has always been an issue that I've had. And you know, my mum took me to get tested and it turned out I had dyslexia. And this primary school basically wrote me off completely and said that, you know, I wasn't going to go very far. I, you know, was going to struggle. And yes, I did struggle. You know, throughout GCSEs, I read my GCSE book 4 times, my English book, because it took me so long to take it in. But it's something that shaped me in that, you know, I've always been a fighter and it's always been something that, yes, you know, I might not be the best at English, but I'm going to keep trying. And I think the advice that I'd give to people who are younger, like, it's okay to not have strengths. And I think you've got to try and play to, you know, you've got to try and play to your strengths. And I think it's okay to struggle at some things and, you know, working really hard and, you know, reading that English book 4 times, watching the movie 5 times and, you know, trying different ways to understand something is something that, you know, it took me some time to realise that, like, you know, I was a lot better at school at things like maths and chemistry and art that didn't involve writing. And that was something that then, you know, I played to. And yeah, it's something that, you know, you need to be able to read and you need to be able to write. But it's something for me that I found a lot harder and I had to spend more time on it. And I think even to this day, it's something that I know and it's something that I say at work. It's like, you know, when I'm joining a new rotation, I'll say to my line manager, look, I am dyslexic. It might take me a little longer to read certain things, but I have got other strengths. And it's something that, you know, it's not a downfall. It makes you think differently. It makes you have a different outlook on things. And I think a lot of kids need to hear that, really.
Absolutely. I see it as a superpower. Because, like, my dyslexic has helped me become a better communicator.
Yeah.
Or a good negotiator. Like, I can't read the contract, but I know what everything has happening in that contract.
Yeah.
And it gives you other superpowers, but it's being brave and standing up and saying, well, I'm not great at reading. It'll take me a little bit longer, but I will get it done.
Yeah.
Because me being dyslexic, if there's something in my mind, it might take me 5 times to do it, but I'll get it done or ask for help, right?
Yeah.
What's your message to others that may have a weakness or something that they feel they will never achieve? You know, imposter syndrome that you get, and you're just like, I get it all the time when I go up on stage. But what's your message to people that feel that they can't achieve something?
I think, you know, my message to people would be that you can achieve something. It's all about having that can-do attitude. One of the marketing directors in M&S, she has always had such a positive outlook on life, and she's like, look, you don't on a Monday morning, you might be a bit tired, you don't want to go to work, but you'd flip your mindset and say, look, I'm looking forward to going to work. I'm looking forward to getting to the office and seeing people and asking them about their weekend. And it's about flipping that mindset and really saying, this is something I want to do and I can do, and that helps you achieve things. And also, there are things that you will have to put some time towards and spend, extra time and focus on those bits that you might struggle with. But then they might become your strengths, and you never know that unless you try. So I think
absolutely, and now you know why the show's called My Duvet Flip, right? You do flip the duvet, and then you flip your mindset, and you do something, and you wake up to what matters. What do you love about M&S? Like, why do you keep turning up?
I think just the vibes in the office have always been just great. Like, everyone is so switched on, everyone's so ready to learn, and it really aligns with me as a person in that, everyone gets up, there's a lot of collaboration, everyone is kind of really focused on the same common goal, which is about our customers. It's about making sure we have the right food on the shelves. It's about coming up with those cool ideas that makes customers come into the store. And I think I just love the energy that the company has. And I also love food, which helps a lot. Like, I absolutely love food. I've done a lot of traveling, and I love trying new foods wherever I go. Even if I'm walking down the street and there's a supermarket that's not like a main chain supermarket, I'll go in, I'll pick up something weird. Like, I think the other day I was trying avocado hummus, which is something I'd not seen before. And I was like, oh, I wonder what that's like. I just love food. But I just think also M&S, the whole culture, the whole supportive nature of it, I found it a company where everyone supports everyone, and it's a very people-orientated company in that, everybody wants the best for you, and everyone's so friendly. I think for me, when I moved from stores into the office, I was worried about, corporate world and going into an office which had 10 floors, and I was really stressed about, this is going to be different from stores. Stores is like your family. You go there every morning at 5 a.m, and you kind of, it becomes your family. And I found the office has been the same. There's been people who are my work mums, my work dads, and it's just like everyone is so friendly.
You know what, we had a colleague on recently for M&S, and they said family, work mums, work. It's lovely to see it kind of channel through the whole organisation, and I love your passion for food. I can't go to a different country. When I go to a different country, I have to do two things. I have to go into a supermarket and try it, and we have whoever I'm with, we have a competition how we can find the weirdest item, and I have to visit a McDonald's just to see the menu. But it's that thing, isn't it? Food brings people together, and your passion for it is just great. What's something that you believe that M&S has taught you? What's something you've learned that by being on the grad scheme and the programme and working at M&S and around some amazing people, what has it taught you about life, about careers, about food? What has it taught you?
I'd say one thing that I've learned is that it's okay to make mistakes. Especially being on the grad scheme, you have the opportunity to make those mistakes and try new things. So I can give you an example of when I was tasked with getting 50 different sandwiches to Scotland, England and Wales football shoots with the players to post on our social media accounts. It was a problem where the sandwiches had to be there from 9 a.m. on a Monday morning, and the sandwich wasn't in production yet, so it's not made over the weekend, and they only have a short life of about 1 to 2 days. It was a big challenge, and I had absolutely no idea how to face it. So I reached out to someone in another area of the business that I'd previously spoken to once or twice. She instantly called me and was like, "Look, I've worked with these suppliers before. Let me help you. This is what you need to say to them. This is what you should do. This is how I'd kind of go about doing it." And she, without knowing it, she transformed this whole problem, because I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to solve this problem. I learned a lot from this experience, and I was able to, then that was the shoot on the Monday. I made sure everything got there for the shoot on the Tuesday. So in short, what I like about M&S is that it's okay to make these mistakes. If the sandwich didn't get there, I tried my absolute hardest to get the sandwiches up there. And my manager then messaged me saying, really appreciate everything that you've done. It's a shame that they didn't get there, but she valued my efforts, and I think you will always be viewed with having tried your best, and people will look for the positives in what you've done. And at the end of the day, it's not life or death situation, and I think that's just something that I've learned.
And from that situation, that project that you're working on, you've reflected on it, and next time you get a project like that, you'll be like, I know exactly what to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about, right? Experiences that sometimes an experience you won't always get shoot the ball in the hoop 100 times, but the next time you just get a little bit closer and closer. And you want to work for an environment like that, don't you? You want to be somewhere where they actually champion your successes, support you on your failures, but help you move forward. And that seems like that's what's happening there.
Yeah, and hopefully that if that does happen, if I have to do that again, or if someone else has that problem, I can then support them on that.
Yeah, and you pass the baton on, right?
Yeah.
You say, oh, I know how to do that, because that other individual that you called helped you, now you help someone else, and that's the whole ecosystem of working in a culture where you can all thrive.
Yeah.
Are you ready for my final question?
Yeah.
What's your duvet flip? What gets you out of bed in the morning to flip the duvet?
I think for me, it has to be just like... It has to be to do with just, the drive to, I want to learn. I think I've always been in a position where, how does that sandwich get from the supplier into store? How does that work? And I think understanding how things work and working in a company where everyone is so positive and so inspiring and has so much knowledge to share, I just want to learn from them. And I think even just, it's such a big company, meeting people, I love meeting people, and there's so many people that you can meet and so many ways that you can meet people. I do the office run club, I've started playing football at the office, and I think just doing that kind of there's just so much to learn, and I think that's my duvet flip really, is just learning every day, always learning.
Well, there's 65,000 people to learn from, right?
Exactly.
Well, I just want to say thank you for joining us on the show, sharing your experiences, for showing us your passion for food and the supermarket, and being on this journey, and hopefully we can inspire more to take your path. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Cool. Enjoyed it?
Yeah. Did a lot of waffling. But...
No, it's good. No, when some people say waffling, it's more storytelling.
Yeah.
You did a lot of storytelling, which is good, which we like, don't we?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.